Welcome to Savidge Kitchen. Today we're going to be making our own elderflower liqueur. Now, you may be familiar with St Germain. This is an herbal liqueur made from fresh elderflowers in France. I was actually surprised to learn that this is a very young brand. St Germain has only been around since 2007, and then they really exploded onto the scene when they were acquired by Bacardi in 2013. St Germain is referred to in the bartending community as bartender's ketchup. I hate that term of all the condiments. Whatever. It's called that because this is an extremely versatile liqueur. You can sip this on its own. It goes beautifully in a variety of cocktails, and just like a little bit added to Prosecco, beautiful. Since this came onto the scene, there now are a couple other of elderflower liqueurs. Personally, I think they pale in comparison to the OG here. So why would we attempt to make our own? Maybe you live in a part of the world where you can't acquire this. Maybe it's a little cost prohibitive. A full-size bottle, and you can see my old oxidized one right here, is roughly $40 in the US right now. That's not terribly outside the realm of other comparable spirits, but hey, in this economy, and also why not? It's kind of fun. So for your ingredients, we're gonna need sugar, water, lemons, and dried elderflower. Now, if you live in a part of the world where you have fresh elderflower available to you, amazing, use that. It's probably going to taste a little bit brighter and fresher. However, I will say if you are using fresh elderflowers, a couple words of caution. One, make sure you know where you're sourcing it from. If you are foraging, be careful. Don't mistake elderflower with hemlock. They look very similar. Elderflower is a more dense grouping of white flowers, where hemlock's a little bit more spread out and the centers of the flower are green. The petals sort of sit off. Look at some pictures. Don't take my word for it. Just please don't poison yourself. Secondly, if you do find fresh elderflower, you want to be careful to separate the petals from the stems. The stems do have some toxins in them. We're going to be cooking everything. That makes it completely safe and reduces the toxins, but you know, I don't want to poison anybody. That being said, if you, like me, do not have access to fresh elderflower, you can buy dried elderflower. One more word of caution. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you know my best friend is a florist, and we, a while ago, used to do reels about flowers. Do not buy flowers from your local florist or floral wholesaler to eat. Those flowers are coated with different types of chemicals and treated in different ways, and they are not for human consumption. So if you see like a beautiful spray of flowers at your local Trader Joe's or grocery store or florist, great, get them, enjoy them, don't eat them. Next up, tools that you're going to need. You're gonna want a heavy bottomed pan for us to make a syrup in. You want a container for the final result, funnel, strainer, and then a peeler for your lemon. Let's talk about what St Germain tastes like. So as we're going along, we know what we're aiming for. This is a 20% ABV spirit, which is kind of on the low side. So our final result, we're going to be aiming for that 20% as well. And it's interesting, for such a floral liqueur, the first notes of this are actually very citrusy. And according to their own marketing materials, you get flavors of honeydew, you get flavors of pear. Yes, absolutely. And it's floral. It's not in a perfumey rose way. It's not in a soapy lavender way. It really is fresh honeysuckle. It has relatively high sugar content. It gives it that beautiful silky mouthfeel. Delicious. Yeah, I could drink this all day long. First things first, let's get our syrup going. Now, I'm gonna put exact measurements in the description below. The important thing to remember here is to work in ratios. The batch that we're gonna make today is gonna result in roughly a liter. It's gonna be just shy of a liter of liquid volume. And I'm about to make no sense because I think in terms of finished product in milliliters, but as I'm cooking, I always think of cups. Blame the United States education system for that one. So for our syrup, I want to end up with roughly 2 cups of syrup. So I'm going to start with a 1.5 cups of water. And then I like to do a tablespoon of dried petals to a cup of water. So 1 tablespoon and a generous half. You don't have to be that precise here. So while this is heating up and coming to a boil, I'm going to cover this and set it aside. Next up, we're gonna take our lemons. Now, if you don't have a lemon tree, you're not alone, but that means you're most likely buying lemons from the grocery store. and those lemons tend to have a wax coating. For this, we want to use the oils from the rind. So I want you to take your lemon and soak it in water for about 5 minutes. And then if you have a vegetable brush, scrub off some of that wax, or just take a paper towel and just like really dry it. And that's going to help get you down to the actual lemon peel. So then just like when we made limoncello, we're going to take just the rind. We want as little of that bitter pith as possible. I personally find a vegetable peeler to be the easiest way to do this, and it really does an excellent job of getting extremely little white pith. This is at a boil, and I'm going to turn the heat down and throw the zest from an entire lemon in here. And we're going to take our lemon, we're using the whole lemon here, cut it in half, and we're going to squeeze the juice of this lemon right into our syrup. Don't worry about the seeds. We've got to filter everything out at the end anyway. And I don't want to just throw the lemon in here because this pith really is quite bitter and it will affect the flavor of your syrup. So we're not going to do that. So now that we've boiled our elderflower petals, we've added our lemon zest and our lemon juice. Now we're going to come in with 1.5 cups of sugar. So this is a 1-to-1 simple syrup, 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of sugar. We're gonna give this a gentle stir. I just wanna make sure that that sugar is fully dissolved. And we are not at a boil now. We only boiled with our elderflower petals in the beginning, and now we're just sitting at a simmer. Once that sugar is completely dissolved, we're gonna cover this and turn the heat off. Let it cool completely. Through the magic of television, I already have a cooled batch of syrup because I made this last night. Now, how long you let this cool will affect the flavor slightly. At the very least, you wanna cool this off of the stove, but not in the refrigerator for at least an hour or two. At least let it come to room temperature. If you have the time and the patience, you wanna throw it in the fridge overnight, absolutely. Beyond that, the flavor really isn't going to change that much or intensify too much, but putting it in the fridge overnight will add just a little bit of depth and complexity. So next step, you want to take your cooled simple syrup, and I'm just filtering this through a fine mesh. If you want to be really cautious about it, you can filter through a cheesecloth. A coffee filter works great. That's going to give you a little bit more clarity to your syrup, but honestly, not that much. And I'm impatient. I always like just using a fine mesh strainer. Look at that. Exactly 2 cups of syrup. Comes my favorite part. For base spirit, we have a couple of options. The most obvious, the easiest, and genuinely, I think the best flavor is vodka. To hit our 20% ABV, I am starting with a vodka that is 40% ABV or 80 proof. If you want this to have a little more kick to it, you could do this with something like Everclear, something that's 100 proof, 120, 151. I don't see any reason to do that unless you want to grow extra hair on your chest, but hey, no judgment. The rumor is that St Germaine, the actual legitimate St Germaine, is made with a neutral spirit derived from grapes, which would technically be a brandy base then. So if you would like to add a little more depth and a little bit more complexity, you can use brandy as your base spirit. I have a cognac here. Cognac is just designates the region. All cognacs are brandies, not all brandies are cognacs. It's a lot like whiskey. Keep in mind, if you do something like this, it is not a neutral spirit. So whatever the flavor of this is, it's going to affect your final result very much. For this experiment, we are just going to do vodka. I've actually tried it a bunch of ways. My favorite is 2/3 vodka with 1/3 of brandy. It adds a little something extra. But play with it, experiment, see what you like. We know we have exactly 2 cups of syrup, so into our bottle we go with this entire amount. And then you could either just top off with vodka, or if you want to be very careful about that ratio, just go right into your same measuring jug. 2 cups, which in milliliters, I believe a cup is 236 milliliters, 240 milliliters, somewhere around there. I am making a mess. God damn it. It smells like bad decisions. Whew. And there we go. You can see the separation of the heavier syrup underneath the lighter vodka. So let's just give this a tumble. Now, technically, this is ready to drink, which I know Seems counterintuitive. A lot of these DIY liqueurs are infusions and require many weeks, sometimes months to get the flavor. The way we do it by infusing the syrup instead of the spirit lets you drink this right away. Will the flavor improve after a day or two? Absolutely. Like, I would do this in advance if I were you, but it really doesn't need more than a day or two. And actually, we're gonna drink this right now to prove it. As a job, this does not suck. Wow. All right, let's talk about it. Now, there's some differences in appearance. Our version is cloudier. This is exceptionally clear. That comes down to a few different things. One of them being that we have real juice in this, and that we started with a tea from crushed flowers. So there's going to be particles in this no matter what. You can filter it if you want it clearer. Personally, it doesn't bother me. The color is spot on. So let's talk about the flavor. Here is our original St. Germain. Yeah, that really is just delightful. Then here is our homemade version of St. Germain. Honestly, you can tell a difference. The difference is that our homemade version doesn't have as quite an acid bite to it as this does. The mouthfeel is the same, that floral note is the same. If you wanted to add a little bit more lemon juice and lemon zest, you could. Personally, I don't think it's necessary. I kind of like the homemade version a little bit better. Wow, that's really delicious. Let's talk about some commonly asked questions and substitutions. We used pure cane sugar for this. Can you use an alternate sugar? You could use honey. I wouldn't recommend going fully honey because the honey is going to affect this flavor quite a lot. I would go maybe half pure cane sugar, half honey. When it comes to alternative sugars like allulose, erythritol, monk fruit, etc., there's a bunch more I forget. I have experimented with them in syrups quite a lot. I don't recommend them because they recrystallize very quickly. So if you're gonna use an alternative sugar, just make sure that whatever you're doing with it, you're gonna consume within a day or two. The commercial alternative simple syrups that don't have pure cane sugar in them, they add all kinds of chemical stabilizers, which like isn't bad. There's nothing wrong with that. It just affects the flavor and like, nah, the end of the day. You could also use maple syrup for this. Again, that's really going to affect the flavor. I don't think in a negative way, but just be aware that it'll taste different than this. Second question, what do you do if you don't have lemons? You could do this entire recipe with citric acid, and the ratio of citric acid to actual fresh lemons is roughly a teaspoon. So for the amount that we made, you would need 1 teaspoon of citric acid. Since this is less acidic than this taste, maybe you want to up that a little bit. Maybe you go 2 teaspoons of citric acid. The other thing that will help with, if it bothers you, is the clarity of the final product. Try to think of other questions you guys have whenever I do. Oh, shelf stability. This is a lower ABV spirit, so I would recommend keeping this in the fridge. Do you have to? But what I'll show you is that, for example, this is a bottle of St. Germain that I've had outside of the fridge for a while now. I don't really remember how long. And you can see the difference here. It's oxidized. Would that have happened in the refrigerator? Eventually, but the process is sped up when it's sitting at room temperature. So you don't have to keep this in the fridge, but if you're going to keep it for a very long time, I would refrigerate it. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I love this series of homemade liqueurs. This one actually was a suggestion from a friend. I've got a few more on the way. We're working on Drambuie, Sambuca, which apparently is polarizing. I love Sambuca. If you have any suggestions or requests, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So many of you are now customers of Savidge Kitchen Provisions and you order our syrups, and that means the world to me. We ship all over the US. I am so sorry we don't ship internationally yet. I am working on it, but I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. I think we're gonna add an elderflower syrup to the lineup of 15. We have 15 flavors. Go get some coconut. Coconut's delicious. All right, until next time, cheers, friends.